mandatory. It doesn't fall in one of the mandatory, so it's technically speaking a 15 to life. But the Board of Pardons will look at these consecutive sentences, run them on top of each other. Look, given his age, he's 58 years old now, given the circumstances of this crime, the fact that he's not taking any responsibility, if he continues to do that, there's absolutely no hope that he's going to be released. I think he dies in prison. I think that even if he does take responsibility, in the interest of justice, he will never be free again. At least in this life.
You put him right below aggravated capital murderers in your talk.
Well, I do that because, this was a heinous, terrible, terrible crime. Premeditated, deliberate murder. But in Utah, it doesn't qualify as a capital offense. A lot of other states it would. In Utah, it doesn't. There's a convoluted statute that would allow for capital murder, not here. But given the fact that it's a murder case, it's as bad as you can get. Doctor, husband, father, a lawyer, what he did here, using his unique special knowledge, it's as bad as it gets, other than aggravated murder. And I say that because aggravated murder carries the death penalty. This does not.
Do you plan to recommend to the parole board anything? I know that sometimes prosecutors will send statements to them.
We will. We'll send, I'll do a letter to the board that explains the facts. Included in that will be police reports, histories, all that kind of stuff. And if they want access to our entire file, they could be given access to that. It's thousands of pages, but we will be giving them statements. I'm sure that the MacNeill family, Alexis, Rachel, Linda, I think that they'll be made aware of any potential parole hearings and dates. They'll have an opportunity to speak with the board as well. Again, I don't think he's ever going to get out.
So how does it feel to be at this point?
It feels great. You have mixed emotions about today. These are always somber hearings. They're sad hearings because nothing's going to replace the life of another. Michelle's never coming back. So the best you can hope for is the strongest sentence possible. Justice is balance, right? It's not a case where Martin MacNeill's life can be taken, but a life sentence is the best we can give. So that provides some balance and justice here. We filed the case just over 2 years ago. Given the nature of it, that's not that long of a time to be here from the time it was filed. But this happened back in 2007. Myself, I became involved in the fall of, the fall of 2010 in helping investigators and giving them direction and answering questions. So it's been on my plate for about 4 years now. It's nice to have it off. I'm sure there's going to be appeals. Attorney General's office will do the appeals on felonies, and they're an incredibly well-equipped office. They know what they're doing. Laura Dupay up there. We're in a good place for appeal.
Have you been given any notice that an appeal will be coming?
I haven't been given any notice of that.
Did you see Martin sort of laughing, talking with his attorney, not seeming to care? What's your thoughts on that?
I did notice that when Linda Clough stood up and she was speaking. He was speaking to his attorney. I didn't see the laughing part, but I heard the discussion. I think it demonstrates a lack of respect for the process. I think the defendant, he simply doesn't get it. And I think that was spoken about and illustrated very well in this case and through the statements from family. But yeah, it's offensive. It's offensive, quite frankly. I'll leave it at that.
I have a technical question. So, could he possibly serve 15 years on his sex abuse conviction before he even begins serving time for murder?
Yes. Technically speaking, yes, because they're stacked on top of each other. So you're looking at if everything were to run, the maximum on the 2 second-degree felonies, you're looking at 15 plus 15, and then plus a 15 to life. So you could look at it from a 45 years to life.
So what's going
first? Will he serve the sex abuse charge first? Does it matter?
It doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't really matter. They're running consecutively, but it's going to be up to the Board of Pardons and Parole.
Also, technically, I want to make sure I'm really accurate on that. So, should we say that it sounds like it is accurate to say he'll serve at least 17 years. Is that right?
The most accurate would be 15 years to life, because the 2 second-degree felonies, the 1 to 15, even though it says 1 to 15, it's not a mandatory even 1 year. There's a number of people that get convicted of that crime that just go to jail. as opposed to prison, and then they serve.
But it's the
a
parole
few
board that
months.
has to set a hearing within 1 year on those things.
You know, on that exact timing of that date, I'm not sure, but yes, they will.
So hearings will begin in a year?
You know what, you should ask them, because I'm not entirely sure.
And of course, the board will determine how long he's actually in prison after
Yes.
that final sentence.
Yes.
Thanks, Chad.
Okay, thanks, guys.